Laura's gonna intro us.
Yeah, I got us for an intro. Oh,
Here, just can you press the lock button? There we go. My
McKenna's
desk is moving.
McKenna has a standing desk, and every time I sit here, I F it up
Same. I have one
because
at my office at work, and every time you lean on it, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it's kind of like a mechanical bull. I'm like, take me for a ride. Um, okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Fuck Wellness. My name is Laura.
I'm Mallory. And I'm McKenna. I've never gone second.
Okay, really a bold start.
I'm Anna.
Oh my God, Anna. Okay, everyone, I'm so freaking pumped for today because honestly, we do kind of play favorites here, and Anna's one of our favorite people to talk to on the
I
podcast.
accept. That was
Yeah.
I mean,
Take the crown.
And I will say, has the most downloaded episode we've ever had.
so true.
Yeah,
So
that is true. But
That's
we
like-
are, we're more than the numbers.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's
Um,
all about metrics. I get it.
No, well, that first episode, honestly, if you have not listened to the first episode that we had with Anna, I highly recommend queuing it up next because I re-listened to it last week and I was shocked by how good it was. Because like the three of us, we were kind of babies at this when we first spoke to you
I was in my spooky
2021.
garage when
Oh,
we
yeah.
recorded. It was very weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it might have been one of the first podcast episodes you had done as well.
Yeah, and it hasn't been 2 years. That makes me
I
upset,
think it's been almost like 3 years.
Ugh.
Yeah, I guess we're in 2024.
Almost
Yeah.
3 years.
Time is flying.
Whoa.
Time is flying, but let me tell you, the themes are the same.
Yes, that's like my main takeaway as I've been listening back to like a lot of the podcasts I did in the beginning, and I'm like, I'm saying the same shit 2 years later. That's okay. Well, at least I mean it.
Yeah, mean it for real. Like some of like the big themes were Mallory being overbooked.
Oh.
Still there. Yeah.
Still in that. McKenna, you were talking a lot about being scared to share your ideas and your words online,
Yep.
which still there, but like also huge progress,
Mhm.
which also huge progress with you, Mal, and overbooking, but you are
And the awareness is still there.
exactly. And Anna, you were talking about like actually jumping 2 feet into like the influencer
Yeah,
title.
which I still haven't done, but I'm really working on it.
I mean, you did write a book. That's
Yeah,
a pretty
yeah.
big
I mean,
fucking deal.
I'm doing everything 2 feet in, but I
Mhm.
just like still have my hand on the cliff, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, still gripping on to something else.
yes. But we did talk last time about like I might move to New Jersey, and instead Andy quit his job and came home. So
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I
It was
do
like
remember that. Yeah.
I was so excited for the two of you.
yeah, and so now we're together. You can see that we're a match made in heaven. We're both a disaster, so now everything's just twice as chaotic.
It's so weird for me to think about us talking back then and then all of the possibilities that we thought could maybe happen and then where we are at now. It like breaks my brain sometimes. It's
Yes.
so bizarre.
I don't
Wow.
even know how my life happened. So
Well, okay. Should we have a catch up? Like,
sure.
can you maybe,
Quick overview.
yeah, let us know to the best of your ability what has been going on the last
What
3
has been
years.
going on? Well, I continued to make content on the internet. That's going all right.
Okay. Yeah.
I think for sure I didn't step away from my job in the way that I thought that I would. I kind of to double down on being committed to it. So now I'm 3 times as busy on the influencer side of my life, and I'm trying to give a little bit more to work. So don't do that.
Are you still doing the event planning?
Yep.
Okay.
Um, So I wrote a book. Everything kind of happened at the same time. So this is probably like a year and a half ago. Was I got reached out to by an editor who was like, "We would love to do a book with you," and I said, "What?" Um, and then
Say again.
and also I got reached out to just by like a random guy who was like, "Have you ever considered like going on tour?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like with what?" Uh, and so I let him. I still work with him now. I let him talk me into it, and he booked me a show last May in New York City, and that was around the same time I finished the book last February. So like it's funny how things like happen slow, but um so yeah, that was like I had just sent in a book in February, and then I worked my ass off all summer like for my day job, and then it was crazy. I literally worked like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, flew out Monday. My show was Tuesday, worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I had another show on Saturday. And I loved it. Um, like that, it was like a test because they wanted to book me more shows initially, and I said, let's do one and see if I survive or if I even like it. And I loved it. And so then the book just like sits around. That takes forever. So then I booked a tour, kind of like a 6 show tour in the fall. Also, like I'm like at work one day and then the next day I leave to drive places. No, I left from a meeting. I was in my Tuesday meeting. Yeah, in November, got in the car and drove to Philly.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so yeah, I did 2 shows in Pennsylvania. I was in Boston, DC, Columbus, Chicago. It's kind of all over the place, but and I'm loving it. And obviously, not obviously, but I am also about to leave on tour again for the West Coast. So um I'm a thing that I didn't ever consider is that when all of your dreams there, I didn't really have dreams, so like, but when really cool things start happening in your life, you don't magically have more energy and time for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's been a harsh reality check that like when magical things start happening, like your book comes out and you go on tour and you host these magical trips with your followers, you're like, oh, now I'm just twice as tired. But but I am thriving in the only best way I can.
Wait,
This
so
is
So
giving
giving me a little bit of hives, but
yeah, I know. Well, same. I get hives thinking about it all.
with book stuff. I think we should circle back to busyness stuff later because it's very relevant in all of our lives. But with book stuff, it was that ever something that was on your radar, or was it you really just got the invitation and you're like, yeah, I have stuff to say. I can fill this space.
I think I've always wanted to write a book.
Hell yeah.
The book that I want to write, I'm probably not going to write until everybody I know is dead. Because it seems, I don't know how people write about their lives while the people in their lives are still around. I That
Yeah.
sounds so scary to me. Like because the people I want like to be proud of my book are my parents, and the people that are going to get torn to shreds in the book are my parents.
Mhm.
So, but she was like a motivational book. It when she reached out to me, and I was like, yeah, we could do that for sure. Like a self
not like
help,
a memoir.
yeah, like a self help coffee table book. And I was
Yeah.
like, yes, I can do that for sure. Um, and it wasn't so much of like there wasn't a whole lot of having to sit down and write. Like every once in a while if something needed like filling out. But in general, I just went back and started watching like my content from the beginning and we transcribed it.
Oh my
So
Mm.
God.
yeah, so it was just like it was already written and then I printed them all out and cut them into like individual things and then I stacked them into chapters like physically.
Amazing.
Like
That's so smart.
yeah.
Work
So
smarter, not harder, you
yeah,
know?
I mean, the book
Yeah.
was already written, which was very helpful. And it was like every time I did have to sit down and they were like, we need another entry for like the burnout chapter, I would get so overwhelmed. Like, I just had a very hard time when you asked me specifically for something like this is what I need. I was like, I can't do it.
I'm not cut out for this.
I was like crying my eyes out on a train, like with my computer. Like, I don't want to do it.
Don't
But I
make me
did it.
do my homework.
Yeah, exactly though. It really feels that way. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
you really never, your life never really changes. It just changes. That's a
I mean,
quote.
I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear about the experience of writing or like transcribing that book when you're feeling the emotions that you're trying to be motivational about. Like when you're feeling
Yeah.
burnt out or overwhelmed. And, I assume that your book, we have not read it yet, but I assume that your book is not like yelling at people to be better,
Nope.
given what I know about your content, but I'm
Nope.
curious like how you balanced that.
I have such, I think that is why it's so hard for me. With a very hard time when people talk about like pre-writing content or like batch making content. I physically cannot because I can't do it unless it's how I feel that second.
Yeah.
Even if I do, last week I got so motivated and I pre-wrote a couple things. But then the next day I didn't feel that way. And I was like, well, I can't record this. I can't do it. And so that, yeah, I can imagine that's why I had such a hard time writing things when I wasn't in it because I'm such an emotional person and I'm such an emotionally driven person that I live so much in the right now, almost to a fault lately, where I have almost no eyes on the future. Um, that yeah, I have a very hard time doing things outside of where I am.
Yeah. I feel like this is, I don't know, it kind of feels like people do have eyes on the future for you, but they just aren't you.
Yeah, that's 1,000%. People see me a lot better than I see myself.
Yeah.
And it's the same. It's like the book and it's like the live show. It's people saying these are the things you need to be doing, and you're gonna really excel at them. And me still not feeling like that person. Because this year for sure, my imposter syndrome is up to the moon.
Mhm.
Every day I feel so terrified that like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this. And I think that is why I retreat so much to this like living in the space that I'm in, like in this second. So it's a little bit of survival mode, I realize, as I say it out loud. Because there is so much going on. But I think I talked about this the other day. When I know my life is this way, like giving you hives and giving me hives. And in the night, I'm scratching my legs. So maybe I actually am getting hives.
Actually allergic to your life.
Yeah. Um, I never make things harder on myself. And that's like my number one to not lose it. And people are like, you have so much going on. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing any of it perfectly. I'm not trying to do any of it perfectly. And that's part of why I'm alive.
Yeah.
And I don't have hives.
I feel like that's something that why like you're like the stuff you say online is so real for real people because it's not like you need to clear out your schedule and go on a vacation to Costa Rica and like all this I don't know
Well,
like
Anna did go to Costa Rica.
no
I
I
did.
know sorry
No, I get
you
it.
do need to go to Costa Rica but
That was
like
also like work though. And it's
yeah
hard. It's
yeah
hard to be that voice of reason for other people. Because the person I'm talking to is me, because I'm the person who needs my advice more than
yeah
anybody on earth. And I lately, especially, I felt like do as I say, not as I do. But no, I think there's a way when people are like, must be nice to be able to like take a day off or just walk away and not do it. And I'm not saying it like that, like walk away from these things. It's more of a mental, everything is so mental. Like
yeah
whatever it is, you have to make it easier for your brain to do it. Like my outfit, I was like panicking trying to leave for my book launch party the other day, and it's like nothing fit and I couldn't like button my pants. I just like panicked and just like put on it, like I just had to let it go and be like, this should not be what you're stressed about right now. Like you just need to get there. They want to see you. They don't care what you're wearing. Like you just have to go. And I think a big example too at my shows, I don't have my show memorized, which people think is strange. And I'm like, this is already the most terrifying thing in the world for me, getting on stage in front of people. I like it and it is amazing and I love connecting with people. But I do not have the brain to memorize an hour of a show. I don't. And so I don't put that pressure on myself. Like it's just everything along the way, like making it easier for myself and not putting the pressure on it. Like on a days when I'm losing it, Pepper, come here. Come here. Um, it's like somebody looked at me and she's like, you need to go for a walk. Like you're losing it. And I was like, okay. And then I was almost about to cry because I couldn't find my shoes. And I was like, Anna, you can go for a walk in sandals. Like this does not need to be a whole thing because you can't find your shoes. Like you're wearing sandals, just walk out the door. Like go and breathe. And I think it's just working with yourself to make I'm doing 10,000 times as many things and I'm probably working half as hard.
That reminds me of I don't know if you've read the book, Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb, but it reminds me of one of the analogies that she used about this person standing behind like a gate and they like are so like trying to figure out how to get like around the gate but they're so busy like looking straight in front of them that they don't realize they can just go around
Yeah.
it like if they step to the side. And I think all those examples are so true that sometimes we get so stuck on the hassle barriers or like on these like small things that like are preventing us from just doing what we need, when really if we just like step to the side of the gate we could
Yeah.
just walk out,
It's
you
like
know.
so like I think my whole life right now I'm living on the fact that like there isn't any shame in the easier route.
Mm.
And people think that if you take the easy route, you're not going to get anywhere. And I'm like, no, I'm taking the easy route and I'm getting more places because I'm not putting like this massive pressure to make it harder. It doesn't have to be backbreaking to be valid. It doesn't have to, you know, destroy your life to be like, I changed my whole life and I gave up everything. It's like I gave up nothing and I'm doing everything at 70% and that's perfect.
I think one of the most important things from what the past few minutes of talking, what I heard from you is like, we always think that when we arrive somewhere that we'll have all of the tools that we need to be able to manage it. Like, right. You said, oh, I arrived at these places and turns out I don't have more time in the day. It's just the same amount of time. Or yeah, like all of these, even mentally, like we watch people on social media or in the world, and our brain makes the assumption of, oh, they have these things. That must mean that they have XYZ mindset, right? And I think what's so powerful is for you to be so courageous about saying, I'm working on this. Like I have these things and I'm working on this, which is the most honest, I think, and what most people are doing, right? Like there's no one that has mastered something perfectly. And I just think like viewing success is so like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan. Viewing success, I guess, is like our brains do something so weird where it's like it elevates someone above us of like, oh, they must do this better than me. They must have no imposter syndrome. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
I think watching your stuff it's just huge in that regard.
Mhm.
Some of the exhaustion has been good for me in that like it does force me to change the way I operate. And a huge one for me, and I got this from work, like pre all of this, and now it's just like I apply it to everything, and it's never perfect, and it always happens. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Like every day is going to happen. It's never going to be perfect, but the day's gonna happen. So like approach it. And I always feel that way about Hello Pepper. events. Yeah, because like you are never going to put on a perfect event, right? Like it's just never going to happen. So you can't kill yourself to try to get there. And that's how my whole life is. It's like, it's no matter what you do, no matter how much time you put into this, it won't be perfect. So keep that in mind when you're fixated on the one thing that you like, I got to throw this away. I've said this before in dog training. When they're not getting something, like if a new command is frustrating them and you can tell they're getting frustrated, you reset them by like throwing a treat across the room, letting them go, like breathe it out, and then you come back to it. And and that's how I approach my whole life. Like if I'm getting frustrated at a thing, wherever I'm at, it's like stop being here. Reset, come back and see what happens. And it's so hard to do. It's so hard to have walking away from being busy one of the key tools to success. And of course, you can redefine success. Being less miserable than yesterday is success.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned more from dog training in the last 6 months than I've learned basically in my whole life. Like I find that training my dog is really just teaching me life lessons.
Yeah, totally. It's so because it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
It takes so much patience. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and you have no idea how much that example hit home. It's like
so
we're
much
all
empathy
deep in dog training.
We're all just dogs who need a reset, okay?
No, like
literally.
Honestly, I mean, and even McKenna and I talk about this all the time with like reactivity, how at least it's made me so much more empathetic for all of the triggers that my dog has.
Yes.
And then I'm not empathetic when like I end up having a day full of triggers and I'm like, why am I so riled up? Well, because I had the same thing that my dog did. But you know what happens when my dog is riled up? I cuddle it, I give it what it needs, but not me. Like I don't do that to myself when I end up having a day full of triggers.
Oh my gosh. They're also so good at boundaries.
Yeah.
Willie, not so much, but Pepper, like if she doesn't like what you're doing, like she will let you know. And it's like, oh, sorry, I will give you your space. I need to be better at doing that in my real life. Like, I will let people walk all over me until it's gone too far, and then I lose it. But it's like, oh, if you had just walked away in the first place, you both could have reset and come back and figured it out.
Yeah. McKenna and I always talk too about, I feel like one of the biggest lessons with having my dog has been like having to set boundaries for him with other people. Like if people come up and want to pet him, the courage that it honestly takes for me to be like, no, you can't pet him. Like that is so scary, but I feel like it has given me some skills for my own advocacy and boundaries that I didn't really have before. So I have appreciated that aspect of it, even though it is really fucking scary.
To be like, no, please leave my dog.
I mean, how often are we reasonably saying no to people throughout the day? Like I personally am not saying no very often. And so it does push you to say no a little bit more.
Luckily, I'm doing it all the time lately.
That's great.
So I'm getting because there's too much, like at this point in where I'm at with, I don't know what to call all of this. With all of this.
Yeah, all of that.
I'm constantly getting asked to do things and be places and like, hey, I see that you're going to be in my town. Do you want to meet for coffee? And it's like, of course I do. But like, the reality is I can't. Like, there's no way for me to do that. Like, I'm on this tour. You can come to my shows. And that's, that's the time and the place that we've set up for for being together.
Yeah.
I can't set aside extra time for that right now, but thank you. Thank you for wanting to see me. I just I know that I can't do that.
Even like you saying that message automatically was like that's such a hard thing to do. I think
it helps that everybody like kind of has an idea of who I am, and just quit it, Pepper. She's so sassy. One lady replied and she goes, I really love your boundaries. And I said, that's so good. I'm glad that like we are eye to eye on this. Like you were just asking because you got to shoot your shot, but I am just saying no because I got to shoot down your shot.
Something that is exciting is that Laura and I will be at your San Francisco show.
Oh my gosh, on my
Yeah.
birthday.
That's your birthday?
Yeah,
Oh my
it's my
God,
birthday show.
Can we bring you a cake, or will we be told to not?
I don't know the rules. I say yes, but
We'll call the venue.
Anna's like, and here's some active boundaries that
that is one thing that I have to be like really specific with. People will be messaging me on the day of the show, like, what's the like rules? Like, how do I get in? And I'm like, no. Please
to
call
me.
the venue.
No, Laura.
Yes.
I'm like, please don't message me. Yeah, they're like, do you know if I get my tickets at the door? And I'm like, no, I don't know anything. I just show up.
Yep. I'm curious, Anna, in the like hierarchy of all of the things that you're doing in your life right now, what things are the easiest to say yes to?
Shows.
Okay.
Yeah, because they do so much for me. And it's besides the 1 hour I'm on stage and I'm literally dripping sweat because I'm so scared and my heart is like I actually pooped it out and like I'm the worst. But for some reason I really like it. It's like this doing it scared thing where even when I said yes after the first show, they were like, "You want to do this again?" Like, what? You were like really scared. I was like, "Yeah, I loved it. It was amazing. You do not get chances to do that kind of stuff." I'm gonna return you.
Oh, Pepper.
I love you so much. You're so beautiful. Take this.
Pepper just wants to chat.
She
Yeah,
does. She's so chatty.
you got things to say.
She does have so much to say. She is a monster. And I love her. Pepper teaches me a
Aren't
lot
we
about
all?
life. Oh yes.
Yeah, we're all Pepper.
Pepper she is the number one teacher of like running your own life. She's a strong, independent woman who knows exactly what she wants all the time. And I don't know how she got that way.
I need some of that.
I know. She's just always like, I need you to pet me right now. And I need a snack. And it's like, whoa, okay.
In what order?
And Andy has created a monster since he moved home because he gives her everything she wants. So now she
A
has
good man.
So now she has no manners. And like Andy, and he goes, "She's a growing girl." Please stop beating the dog. She used to respect things. I got off on a real tangent there. But no, I love the show so much. I love, here's what it is. I have a very hard time knowing if I'm proud of myself because there is a big difference in having an impact on the internet and having an impact in real life. And I am very bad at understanding what I'm doing online. It doesn't matter how many people message me and say, "You saved my life, you're changing my life." I don't feel it. Like real life, when I meet people, that's when I'm like, I could not be more proud of the group of people that I've brought together in this world. Because every person I've met is amazing and every conversation we have is amazing. And I don't mind that people like dump on me. Some people would. I'm just like, I love it when people come up to me and they're like, "I have to tell you a story." And it's like the most traumatic story you've ever heard in your life. You're like, I can't believe that I'm the person that you just like trust with that. I love it. And so I never really wanted to be an influencer. So for me now, it's almost like the internet part of it is the necessary part to get the people there in real life. And I want to do the real life thing. I love the real life thing.
I'm so excited to come see you.
Yeah.
What do you need?
I need a pen.
Okay.
It's a good show. I try not to talk about it too much because I don't want to like give it away.
Yeah, no. Keep it locked up.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, you should like post it," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to."
Yeah,
Even
keep the allure.
if my tour manager's like, "You should post some of the best clips," and I'm like, "I don't want to give away the best clips." Like,
Yeah, only post some subpar clips and
Yeah, I'm like, I don't-
low expectations.
That's always good. it was San Francisco. They posted, the comedy club posted like a clip of my show, which I don't know where they got that from, but I was like, phew, it's not the best one. But
Good, not great.
yeah, I was like, it's okay, and it's at the beginning when I'm the most nervous. I get like, you can tell, and I've seen it, and I've watched like a video of my show where like it starts the first 15 minutes, I'm like shaking, and then towards the end, I'm fine.
What do you do pre-show to like get yourself out there?
I drink 2 glasses of white wine
Hell yeah.
every show. I that's probably not correct. That's probably not the right answer, but it's the real answer.
No, and I've been thinking about this the whole time you're talking, is like on social media these days, especially, but also in real life. I feel like we're constantly being fed, this is the perfect way to set a boundary. This is the perfect way to have whatever routine. This is the perfect way to not be nervous. Just like my
It's
nerves are just my excitement, right? Like
whatever
it's that
works for you.
right. But I think that I don't know, it's there's just something so freeing about trusting yourself over any of the stuff that is literally force fed down our throats of how we're supposed to be, act, feel, anything, right? Like I don't know if everyone else feels this way or if just me feels this way, and I'm just an anomaly there, but I think hearing all your examples, it's like, yeah, this is just what I do.
Mhm.
And I think in a space where you're perceived so much, how much of like I don't know, just self energy you have to just accept whatever it is that's going to come through to help you.
So so an example of that, even just I was at my book launch that the bookstore was hosting, and she kept looking over at me every time someone would ask me to do something, or she's like, "Do you ever just like say no?" And I was like, "Oh, I would if it was something I didn't want to do, but this is like the coolest thing that's ever happened to me, so I'm I'm
Yeah.
good." I think she just couldn't believe how easygoing I was, and I said, just like, not being easygoing is it's not going to help the situation where I'm nervous, where there's a lot going on. Like, it's easier for me to just sometimes let people dictate what I do next. Um, but when you're talking about like giving advice, I'm never telling people what to do, right? I'm just saying, here's what I'm going to do. But I think with happiness or with chasing anything, any dream or whatever, I don't know what the right thing to do is, but you know what the wrong thing to do is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what doesn't work for you. So stop doing that. It's the same with like happy. When we in our lives, when we think about happy, I don't know what makes me happy, but I can pinpoint things that make me sad. So it's just like walking away from those things and then kind of just figuring it out along the way. But yeah, I never know what's the right thing to do, but you do know what's the wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or what doesn't work for you. So don't
Totally.
keep doing it, because that's not going to help. It's like if it didn't work once, it's probably not going to work the second time or the third time. The white
Yeah.
wines worked every time. It's
Laura,
just
you have
trial and error.
yeah, Laura, you have your thinking face on.
Me?
Yeah, I feel like there's a little some processing happening in your brain.
No, well, yeah, I am. Things are firing up here. I was just honestly, I was getting a little bit like I was looking at your cardboard boxes
Aren't they beautiful? Wow.
because I was thinking about the video that you made recently about like being like I am like this is what my house looks like,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
legitimately, this is what it looks like. Stop like thinking that I am that like the perfect thing that we're fed on social media is real. And I think that I just love that your house looks like that. Because my house, I know for a fact that when I have a house, it will look like that. Because even my room, the spaces I have in our apartment, like poor McKenna, because McKenna gets her shit locked, and I never have my shit locked.
Yeah.
But the thing is like it's a house for me, but there's other things in my life. You know what I mean? Like there's just
That's true. That's true.
it doesn't always
That's
have
what
to
it
be
is.
one.
I think for sure, like you have to pick and choose what gets your time. And for
Mhm.
me, I have so many, it's just so low on my priority list. Like, but because I have work and I have the dogs and I have Andy and I have the promoting the book, and I have promoting the shows and writing the show and all of these other, and my job, which is, you know, fun, or
Your
working on
full-time
my
job that you're doing
brand
on top of
deals,
this.
pitching brands for money, which not fun, and just living. And so it's like, I am not going to spend 6 hours cleaning my house today. That is really low on the list of things that are going to bring me joy. Would it make me happy if I walked my house and it was clean? Yeah, but but I don't have the time. So
Right. I know. And I feel like I just like, it makes me have hope for like my life to just see that reality on social media and to see it right now, like in real life, because this is real life to me. Because like, I don't know, everything else that I consume on social media, I feel like I've done a good job of like, you know, not like following certain people who make me feel bad about myself, but also like the person I follow who makes really beautiful like recipes for breakfast, like her house is spotless. So like why isn't my house spotless? But like I feel like you honestly like you are the anti-venom to
I love
that
that so much.
stuff online. Cause like we literally, even me, I know that I shouldn't be following those people, but it's also a drug and it feeds me dopamine to see her make English breakfast like every day. So I just also like you're so needed because that is what my life actually looks like, is what your house looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine everybody's life looks different, but people ask me all the time when you talk about your feed and what's in it. Like, oh, how do you deal with like the pressures of, you know, like seeing what other people are doing? I'm like, oh, I'm not seeing what other people are doing. I'm just not. I choose not to see what other people are doing. One, because I think it really keeps my content mine,
Yeah.
and I can get to do it my way, and it's not heavily influenced. But like, I just don't consume a lot of content on purpose. Um, and if I do, it's like cats teaching history lessons. Uh,
Important.
but it's all a choice, you know. I did that. One of my first ever ads was for Dove, and it was detox your feed, and like it's still such a good lesson. Like, if it makes me sad, why am I consuming it? I mean, sometimes I'm actively seeking out things that upset me because
Yes.
there's just a little.
I do that too.
I'm a
What is
human
with that?
who wants to see stuff sometimes.
I feel like I do that too. And then I beat myself up about it because I'm like, Laura, you know, this isn't healthy to consume, you know, this
Right.
this person cleaning her $1 million house. Like, this is not healthy for me to just watch over and over, like hours of. But then
Oh,
it's so like even the beating myself up for doing that is like trying to be a perfect person online or like a perfect person who needs to decompress from work.
nothing's
Like,
perfect.
nothing is perfect.
Not a thing. Like, I would say the closest thing to perfect is Pepper, and she's a nightmare.
Everything circles back to Pepper, I think.
All roads lead to
All
Pepper.
roads
I
lead
think
to Pepper.
I'm so sorry. She's just in a mood today, and I really respect that about her.
I love that.
She woke up on the wrong side of the bed. She got she absorbed my energy from yesterday. Yesterday, like, I was just in the worst mood that anybody's ever been in. It was unbelievable, but I just let it happen because there's not really anything I can do about it.
How
I've just lived so much in the right now.
do you have a question?
Yeah, but it's kind of a pivot if you want to say something.
I was just gonna say, like, how do you like do all of the things that you need to do on the days where you're like, I kind of just want to have a breakdown?
Meds.
Okay, nice.
I'm a
Pepper.
human who believes in better living through science. And I do not take ADHD meds every day, but I do take them on the days when I have a lot that I have to do. And I also have different dosages from my psychiatrist based on the level of what I have to do that day, because unfortunately my brain wasn't created to stay on top of things ever or stay on task or focus. I didn't get blessed with that. My mom did. So thanks for nothing, lady. No. And also I'm still like a little product of capitalism who like can turn it on
Yeah.
and become some sort of a monster and sit at my computer for 18 hours and hammer things out. Because unfortunately we still have to do that sometimes. It's not my favorite. It's
No.
like work. Like I just can do my job, but it's not because it's easy.
Yeah. All right, Ken, go ahead.
Okay, I have a hard pivot, but I don't know if we'll find it interesting. We can play around with it, how we think about what I'm going to say. But I was watching your Instagram and just over the last few weeks, I can't remember when you posted this, but there was a video that you posted where you basically were talking about your current overwhelm and also how making videos fits into that current overwhelm. And I loved it because I saw this weird connection to, as viewers or consumers of media, I think we often forget that making social media videos is a lot of work, right? Like it's
Yup.
not always just like I set up my camera and I just like off the cuff said something. Sometimes sure, but a lot of times bigger creators, there's a lot of effort that is put behind that. And I just made this kind of funny connection to like TV and movies. We're not supposed to see that behind the scenes work, right? We're just consuming the like perfect final edit of it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And it's transferred over to social media where it's like these highly produced things where it's like I don't think it was this way 4 years ago, even 3 years ago, even. But now I see creator after creator. It's like I'm like, do you legitimately have like a TV crew in your house? Like I'm confused how perfect this is.
Probably.
And yeah, no, honestly. And it's so refreshing for you to be like, this is work. Like this is
Yeah.
helpful. It might fill your cup. It's a creative flow, all of those awesome things. But at the end of the day, it's work. And I just love that you kind of called that out because I think my perception is people are scared to come across as not effortless.
It's all effortful.
Yeah.
Full of
Life is
effort.
life is really hard, and I like to remind people that all the time. It just isn't easy. There's there's very little about being alive that's simple.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, videos for me are also they kind of now, which I'm glad for, they fall kind of in the house cleaning. I will go weeks now, and that's been a huge like hurdle for my brain to be like, you don't have to do this. Like you have the community you have, and that's good. And I don't feel that way every day. But videos, yeah, people also there's a reason I don't post the bloopers because like I was mentioning, like I do not have the memorization thing. I just don't have it. And I know that my content is literally 30 seconds long. It takes me 80 tries to get every line, which is a little bit embarrassing. And so when I did post those bloopers like a couple of weeks ago, someone was like, "Are you okay? This kind of looks like when somebody has a stroke." And I was like, "And that is why I do not tell you how long these take me because I'm not having a stroke. I just don't have the memorization gene.
Yeah.
I just
I
didn't
had
get that chromosome."
I had to record this video for work yesterday that's going to go out to quite a few people. And I for some reason got so nervous about it. I was recording and Laura probably heard me be like, "Hi, I'm McKenna," like 40 times. And
Yes.
it was a 2 minute video. It
It
was
never
and then
sounds right.
mid recording, I say something slightly off and you could see me go, like I like cringe at it. And the other thing I was going to say with that is I think it was that video. If not, it was one close by, but someone commented, it was like the top comment, and it was like, "You look like you're juggling glitter." And I was like, wait a second. I love that. Like I just immediately had that feeling of what that conveyed. So I don't know. it's important, I think, to be real there. And I think that's probably why so many people appreciate how you communicate things. It's because it's like, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, but we're doing our best.
Yeah, I have a very hard time faking it, which is good for me. And the number one thing that people say when they meet me is they're like, "Oh, you're just you."
Yeah.
I say, "What did you think?" Like, I don't know how to be anybody else.
Yeah, this is why my YouTube channel lasted about 2 weeks because I realized how much effort the video part of things were. And that is why I've transitioned to mostly writing because even though writing is effort, it feels like less effort for me because that is a strength that I have, and it flows a lot more than me having to like overthink everything I say and do it on camera and care what the background looks like. And it feels like I'm able to express myself more through writing because I don't have to overthink it as much.
It when you think about the things that drain you, it is draining to watch yourself. It is draining
Yeah,
to edit
no.
yourself because like the amount of times I have to hear myself when I'm editing, it's just like, oh God. I say it all the time, like at my shows, because I play videos at the front of the show, and every time I have to hear it, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, it's just so.
Sometimes when I'm editing the podcast, I don't mind hearing our voices as much, but then when I hear Laura start editing the videos, I'm like, like that's my voice. Like that's so scary.
It can be alarming. There'll also be like times when I change my voice like mid video, and I won't know I did it in real life, and I'll be watching it like, oh. I just jumped 20 octaves.
A jump scare.
Anna, do you ever watch your videos and think, wow, I'm such a badass bitch? Like, do you ever have the other side of the reaction?
Oh, no. I do know if they're good though. There are videos I post where I'm like, someone's gonna
Mhm.
like it. There are like a lot of times I can predict like, oh shit,
Mhm.
this is fire. Like,
But do you feel like it's less about you and more about the content, or can
yeah.
you ever acknowledge that it's you that's creating and being that person?
I Wow, that's a really good question. Um, no, I'm having a really hard time with pride.
Mm.
I'm having a very hard time with it because I get asked a lot if I'm proud and like, do you think what you're doing is cool? And so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Oh no, I'm muted.
It just went out for 1 second.
Okay. I'm having fun and I think I'm working on the other part. Like that's like I said, it's much easier in real life. Like videos are very hard for me to be like,
Mhm.
look at that girl. She's so neat.
I think it's also really hard to pull yourself out to a bird's eye view of what you're so ingrained in. I think
Yes.
that's really difficult to do.
It's really
Because
hard
there's
to look
always going to,
at your life
yeah,
from the outside,
totally. Like I
especially
would,
because you actually know what it looks like versus somebody else
yeah,
looking at your life from the outside and filling in the blanks. It's
yeah,
like, no, I know what it looks like, so I don't know how I feel about it.
yeah. Yeah, and like with even this podcast, when people come up and say kind words to us, it's so awesome, right? Like I love that part of it. But and they'll say something like, "I can't believe how vulnerable you guys are on the podcast," or something to that effect, which is awesome. That's the goal of this whole thing. But then I'm like, "Wow, thank you so much." But like my conversations in private with Mallory and Laura are like 1,000 times more like bare my soul kind of
Right?
thing. And
Yes.
and so I always feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough here because I'm sharing so much deeper in my personal life kind of. And so it's funny to be recognized in that way and also feel like I could be doing more.
Ugh, I mean, we could all be doing more, but what we could also all be doing less.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. This was in the my where was I? My book launch party. And I had talked about how I was so scared to release the book because I didn't want people to make fun of me. I was like, I know that people are gonna look at this and be like, what? This is like cartoons for adults. And it's like, yes. And somebody in the audience, she goes, you just said were afraid to release a book that you wrote and you post online like every day. And I said, oh, I never really thought about it, but it's just exposure. It's the more I do it, the more comfortable I get. And when I first started posting content, I was drying my hair and putting on makeup. Like it was a whole thing because I was so nervous. And it was just the more comfortable I got doing it. And I got used to seeing what I looked like in real life. And it is kind of awesome now when I put on makeup and I do my hair. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And I love that.
And there's like different types of exposure. Like you can post videos of yourself online, but publishing a book is a different type of exposure to
it's
like
a tangible thing you could touch and hold in your hand and like look at and be like, I hate it. It's like, that's me. It's different, like because you can hold it, but I promise that's just like looking inside my head. That's what it is. So when you hate it, I'm like, well, you wouldn't like it in here then.
You wouldn't like it in here.
Nobody would like it in here, okay?
Yeah, I just feel like there's been, McKenna, Lara, and I have done a weekly podcast since May of 2020, but yet I can still be on a panel at the university I work at and be terrified to speak into the mic. Like those are different types of exposure. Like just because I talk for an hour on a podcast once a week does not make it any more comfortable to then go speak in front of
it
a
doesn't
group of
translate.
people,
Yes. That's like my live show. People are like, millions of people see your content online. I'm like, but I can't see their faces.
Different. Yeah, it's different.
I can see your face, and I don't like that because I overthink it the whole show. So you better just fake it. Just smile a bunch, okay? Because I'm always
You'll hear Laura and I cackling the whole
time.
We'll
be front row, just like giving you every affirmation you need.
As like an overthinker who's also so anxious, when I'm on stage, I'm like, I'm like trying to read the room so much and just like panicking. But I have to do the show either way. But it was Pittsburgh. It was like the whole audience was deadpan the whole show, and I was like,
what?
I don't know what to do. And after I was like, it was so amazing. And I was like, could you smiled or made a noise? Because damn girl,
I needed more from you.
I was fighting for my life up there.
Before every show, you just have a lecture on like active listening.
Yeah, like I really need you to be as loud as possible.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm saying stuff that's changing your life. But if you could just think about it later.
Show that. Yeah.
Yeah, like take that home with you.
Yeah.
No, because that's the other thing. People are like, I really want to talk to you, but right now I just need to process what I just, everything that you just said. And it's like, sorry. I say it all the time, so I don't think about how it's big and heavy and scary. So it's like when other people are like, it was just a lot to think about. Like, oh, was it? Sorry, I didn't think about that. It's just my life.
Something that you said earlier was Mal has this tattooed on her body. It's so important to her. But this concept of doing it scared. And this whole, there it is. There's a tat. I think it's so refreshing to have conversations of being like, I am going to do this thing and I'm going to poop my pants. I'm so scared. But I'm still going to try it and I'm still going to do it. I think there's a difference of like, I guess the only way, like example I can relate to this is like when you're exercising, there's like discomfort and there's pain, right? Like those are two different things. And I think similar to when we're exercising our growth and new things, right? Like there's pain as in like we shouldn't be doing this, and there's discomfort like I'm really fucking nervous. And I love the idea of doing things even though we're nervous. Like just because we're scared doesn't mean it's not meant to be, or doesn't mean we can't do it. Or if we have those imposter syndrome thoughts, it doesn't mean that we abandoned the project. And I think that's just huge. Like a few weeks ago, I launched a Substack and I was so scared, like so scared. And then it happened and that's that. Like I was like, okay, this came out. So many people said so many nice things. And I was like, okay, like why was I that scared? And then now it's okay. But
I like really don't believe in fearlessness. I like
no.
really don't think it's a thing. I feel like we're all doing it scared and trying to make it seem like we're fearless, and we're just like, that's just not how it is.
Yeah.
We're all shitting our pants.
Yeah.
All the time. I've never
All the
been more
time.
scared of my life ever. My whole life is terrifying to me. Everything that I'm doing is the scariest thing I've ever done. Like, even when I send, like, I'm cold calling, like, a gummy bear company. I'm the cringiest I've ever been. Not only did I pay for all of their emails for the marketing department, like purchased them from the internet so to 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 uns to get them this deck that I made special for them. I also tagged them on Instagram and was like, "Can you please check your email? I am a menace to society." And I and it's like, I can't believe I did that. It's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. But it's like, I have to do this. I'm living my life and I gotta live it like a white man.
Yeah.
Who
Yes.
nobody's ever said no to before.
Yeah.
One of the people, when people ask me like, who's like your inspiration, I'm always like, my dad. But like the older I get, the more I realize that he might just be a white man who nobody's ever said no to before.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that pride might not be what I thought it was. I love him, but he lives in the space of like, if you don't ask, you can't have it. But he just like will ask anything. And I'm like, you can't just ask people for
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times do we tell ourselves no before we even ask?
Gotta ask. I mean,
Gotta ask.
somebody said, you don't have a team. Like how do you get brand deals? I pay for their emails.
You're looking at it.
I stalk them. I say, hello, I'd like to work for you. And they say, what?
Who are you?
And they're like, you can't just cold call Brooklyn in. And you're like, I can. And
They
I
probably
will.
have a whole department for that.
And that's how I get brand deals. Okay.
Yeah. It's
I don't
funny
know.
you being like, that's so cringy because I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, call everyone. Like,
Yeah.
can I
Right.
get anyone's number for you? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Every cool gummy company, we're gonna get you the
Yeah,
info.
like, I got a girl for you. Have I got for you? My mouse is too close to the mute now, and I'm fidgety, so I keep clicking it. Oh, she lives a life.
I thought it was Pepper coming in and muting and unmuting you.
No, she's humping her brother.
Classic.
Appropriate. Oh boy. What a day.
Any final thoughts, feelings, questions for me?
Oh, you can do whatever you want to do. And people, I guess things can change. There it is. That's what I'd say. I hate change, and my whole life is just change now. Every day, something different
I
happens.
was gonna say you're on a roller coaster of it.
Yeah, I'm
A
just better
change
at
castle.
it. Exposure, exposure to constant change is like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't
I feel
know,
like
but
sometimes people get like change hangovers though, where like there's so
yes.
much change where like you just need to like lay in bed for a week after it.
Yes. I mean, my tummy hurt the 2 days before the book came out. And my sister-in-law was like, aren't you exhausted? Like, I've spent 2 days with you through this book launch and I'm exhausted. And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm okay. And then the next day I like couldn't get out of bed. I was like, oh, there it is.
Mhm.
Okay.
It hit.
I was like, no, you're right. I am exhausted. It hadn't hit me. It was delayed. Yes, I'm tired.
Yeah. Survival mode. And it ended for
It
a
is.
moment.
Oh, yeah. I keep waiting. I'm waiting for manic. I need it. I need a good don't, that's not nice. Don't abuse your own mental illnesses.
Anna, my last question, your husband's name is Andy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that I remember like just talking with you about on the first episode and loving hearing you talk about on other episodes that you've done is Andy and
Uh-huh.
is like I don't know. I love. Sue
Yeah.
me.
He's just like a cool guy.
He sounds so awesome.
He's the
And
most low-key person on planet Earth.
I love those kind of people.
Which is so strange when you're like, why aren't you freaking out?
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, yeah, so that is what it is. And no, it's been for sure weird having him home. I've been in like a very big adjustment period because I've lost a lot of my me time, which is hard. But he's good people. I just have a big crush on him and I just really like him. And I don't know, like I feel every time people are like, we last night at dinner we were watching Love is Blind and they said like marriage is hard or whatever. And he looks at me and he goes, is marriage hard?
Oh.
And I go, I said no. I said the hard parts about our marriage aren't that hard because we both do them. Like all of the things that would make us crazy, that like we both have 90 cups next to our bed. We have giant sacks of cardboard everywhere. And like the things that are so annoying about us, we both do. So it's not as annoying. I just really like him. Pepper's barking at the wall. She's looking at nothing. She's not even facing me. Now she's just barking for barking's sake. I never know what I'm gonna get with those two. Sometimes they just sleep through the podcast, and then other times there's Pepper woke up, sassy. She's
in a mood.
Oh.
Hey, girly.
Did you have any other thoughts?
No, I just really love Andy, and
You're
I like
gonna meet him.
Yeah. Oh my God.
In San Francisco?
Yeah.
Fun.
Hell yeah.
He's
Does
my
he come to
he's
all
my
your
only
shows?
employee. Yes, he's my merch guy.
Oh, love.
Yeah.
Laura's gonna fangirl.
He says that's the weirdest part, so definitely do it. He's always like, it's so weird when people know who I am.
Yeah.
And even at the book launch, he goes, oh, I met Alex. And I go, how did she introduce herself to you? Like, how did that come up? And he goes, she literally just said, I'm Tammy's cousin. I've been to your house. And I was like, oh. But yeah, and my parents, they came to all the East Coast shows because they're closer to our house. And people were like, I met your parents. And I'm like, I know you did. And then I talked shit about him for 15 minutes in front of you.
It's like everyone's like constantly like looking at your parents and then looking at you.
Yeah. How are they reacting?
Yeah.
Yep.
I have one kind of quick question to close us out. But Laura and I, we live together in San Francisco now. And since moving here, if our cup is full, / if we need to do this a little bit at least once or twice a week or else we go crazy, is we have to have our wind down TV time at night. Like that is our like North Star of like, we both have these days. And then when we get on the couch with Douglas and it's like wind down time where we listen to music and we do like parallel play, like separate activities, right? At the same time. What is your North Star for that? Like if you have a string of super hard days, like you're like, I just need this one thing to fill my cup. What would it be?
I think it's just sleeping, laying in my bed, being in my bed, playing Pokemon Go in my bed. I like to play a little video game to escape my own life. That's like I play The Sims when I'm very stressed. And it actually like does come in waves where I'm playing it a bunch right now. And that's like a sign.
That's a sign.
that
Tour's coming.
That I'm trying to not be a part of my own life. And instead, I have this family and they have 3 cats and a dog, and they're all managing their lives. And I'm like, this is great. I can't think of anything because I'm so busy with you guys.
I'm running a family over here.
I am avoiding everything.
Well, oh, I'm just so happy that we got the chance to talk to you and that this isn't like goodbye for 2 years, because we'll see you when at the end of the month.
Yeah, at the end of March.
Oh my gosh. So much Anna in March.
22 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
Anna, what is the name of your book? Where
Oh,
can
yeah.
you get
God,
it?
okay, sorry. I'm
How
like
do
a
we
not
find you?
so bad at self-promotion. Okay.
I'm like, this is your chance. Go at
My
it.
book is called Keep It Up Cutie, a not quite self-help book. I should have one with me. I sure don't.
It's on your shirt.
Yes, it's pink. It's so fun. It's I like it more than I expected to. I don't think you're supposed to say that about your book, but I was really scared that I'd get it and be like, this is scary. But I opened it and I was like, this is just like taking a walk through my head. And it's so sweet in there. Pepper doesn't like the book. No, I'm just kidding. She loves it. And then my show is also called Keep It Up Cutie. And I'm going on tour starting March 20th, 2024. Denver, San Diego, LA, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle. So you should come see me. My website's akprzy.com, and the tabs are like in order of importance, like tour, book, other stuff. Merch.
Perfect.
The merch at the shows is exclusive merch if that makes people want to come more.
Ooh.
It's not sold on the web.
Ooh, Laura, can I get me one?
Yeah. We will.
Yeah, and we'll put all the links in the show notes so you guys can easily grab them. And if you're in San Francisco, you should come to the show with me and Laura.
Yes.
Yeah. Or even near San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, come out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mallory, book a flight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's like, my schedule's too busy, you guys.
No.
Take a couple of things off your schedule.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
my advice.
I'll work on that.
I'll do the same.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Anna. This was lovely.
Thanks for having me. Sorry, I'm always all over the place. I'm not sorry about it. It's just who I am.
No
You should not
apologies.
be sorry about
We
it.
freaking love it. We eat it up. Yep.
Oh, thank you so much. This was fun.
Okay.